What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. UFC Fight Night. Usman versus Buckley is this weekend, and I'm here to break down the entire card, go over some betting odds that I would, that I favor. Starting with the early prelims, we're gonna work our way. Okay, we're gonna work our way up to the main event. Breaking down each one of the fights in between. And first off, though, we're gonna start with an announcement that we have had for a couple weeks, or this week on the channel. I have started for this entire YouTube channel and my Tapology group that you see on the screen. I have started a competition where if you win our Tapology group, so all you have to do is join the Tapology group. Oh man, we gonna have a day. So the link is up here. I'm going to put it down in my description of my video as well. If you join and win our group, like last week we had the winner, Pac-Man77, I will personally Cash App you the money equal to the amount of subscribers I have. I'm sure that's going to cap out at a limit at some point, but as of right now, he would have won $10. So, when he sends me his information, we're going to send the money to him. But anyways, we're going to keep that going for this event as well. We're going to just keep doing it until we don't do it anymore, or I don't know. We'll just keep doing it. So we've got the Buckley versus Usman Fight Night card. As of right now, there is no winner because the event hasn't happened. But anyways, we're going to break down the entire card. Hopefully we're the winner so that we don't have to pay anybody out, but if we do, it's okay. Anyways, we will start with the early prelims. We get right into a women's fight. So I'm immediately going over here. Okay, perfect. That is exactly how I was thinking, but, there you go. Jamie Lynn Horth by decision. She's the better fighter of the two, but don't take that into full consideration. Our first black-on-black violence of the fight night. This is in Atlanta. I did forget to mention that. There's a few black-on-black crime or black-on-black violence fights that we've got going on. And I think that's just in honor of being in Atlanta. We're going to start it, though, with the Fresh Prince Phil Rowe versus Angelusa. This is a very close fight. It's a fight between two of the most mid-tier skilled welterweights you're going to see. And at that point, I feel like it kind of comes down to the potentially the length and range of Phil Rowe being a massive problem. But seeing as how Jake Matthews gave Phil Rowe a lot of trouble, it kind of makes me want to pick Angelusa. He is the more explosive of the two. Definitely more athletic, but Phil Rowe just has this freakishly large frame, and he tends to miss weight. It being in America, Angelusa having to travel over, I don't love that for him. He did just lose to Bonfim and was not doing great against Brian Battle, but Brian Battle, I would say, is a good step up above Phil Rowe. And Gabriel Bonfim, another step up from Phil Rowe. The losses from Phil Rowe as of recently are Jake Matthews and Neil Magny. Like I said, this is a tough fight to call. It's almost a 50-50 fight on Tapology. Betting odds they don't even have on here, which I'm sure I could go to the UFC website and find them. I am going to go... Damn, this is a tough one. I guess I'm going to go... I'm going to go with Angelusa by decision. He's the more well-rounded of the two fighters. I do think the length of Phil Rowe is going to give him some issues in the first round. I could very well see Phil Rowe hurting him in the first round, maybe, and then Angelusa making the adjustments to end up winning the fight. I'm going to go with Angelusa. I think he's going to win this fight by decision. Not super confident on it. These first two fights, I'm not super confident. First fight, I'm not confident in because it's a women's fight and literally anything can happen. Second fight, it's just a 50-50 matchup. Both guys aren't great, but they're not terrible. Moving into a short notice matchup for Cameron Smotherman. We've got Ricky Simone moving in. Or Ricky Simone was already on the card. Cameron Smotherman stepping in on short notice to fight for Charles Jourdain, I think it is. Or was. Ricky Simone has only lost to good fighters as of recently. And Cameron Smotherman beat Jake Hadley, but he just lost to Surrey City. And that's just not a loss that I view as a fantastic loss to have in this division. Surrey City is not one of the most skilled fighters in this division, and I do think Ricky Simone being smaller, Cameron Smotherman might be able to pick and poke at range for a little bit, but I just don't see Simon losing this fight. I think he's going to end up winning probably by a decision. He's just beaten more skilled fighters. This is Smotherman's third fight in the UFC, and it's not like he's been blowing your socks off. Nothing's been too terribly impressive. His performance against Hadley, you can kind of mark that down as a guy who was leaving the UFC. Versus a guy just getting his shot in. So, I get it. Smotherman had a good performance against him, but that hasn't aged to the best at this point. It's a win. You do need to win that fight, and he did. But does it really matter that he beat Jake Hadley? Moving to the flyweight division, we've got Cody Durden versus Jose Ocha. I'm not sure, since he's from Peru, how they pronounce it. I'm going to be going with Jose Ocha. I think he's the more dangerous of the two fighters. I think he's actually going to finish Cody Durden. I don't think Cody Durden is a very skilled flyweight. He is more experienced than Jose Ocha. That typically gets me to pick against the other guy when they're just getting into the UFC and they're not that talented. He does kind of remind me of Ronaldo Rodriguez, which that's a bad thing. But his fight against Lonnie Kavanaugh, I think, would absolutely manhandle Cody Durden in the striking and wouldn't get taken down by him. And Jose Ocha gave him some actual problems on the feet. Some serious problems. He hurt him in round 2, got him on the ground, was landing some serious shots, had him actually hurt, and then I think tried to latch up a submission. I'm going to be picking Jose Ocha to get a round 2 knockout. I think that he is going to be explosive, a little wild. Maybe a round 1 knockout would probably be the better of the two decisions. I'm going to actually switch it to round 1. But I'm going to pick him to come out explosive, hot. Cody Durden, this is his hometown. He'll probably come out a little nervous, honestly. People tend to be nervous in their hometown a little more than, if they were going in to try to beat somebody in their backyard. I've got Jose Ocha. I think he is a decently skilled flyweight. I'm not picking him because of his skill set. I'm picking him because he's more dangerous than Cody Durden. I do think Cody Durden is technically the better fighter, but not by much. And Jose Ocha has significant stopping power. He can find stoppages in the flyweight division. That's something you don't tend to run into too often. I'm going to pick Jose Ocha. Ochoa, however you pronounce it. Moving on to the bantamweight division, we've got a guy coming back to the UFC yet again. Or not yet again, but we've got a guy coming back to the UFC. Chris Matinho making his second debut in the UFC. We're going to have him fighting Malcolm Wellmaker. This is in Malcolm Wellmaker's home state of Georgia. I think Malcolm Wellmaker is not the real deal, but he has some serious power. And Matinho just kind of walks forward, guard up. He's going to just run into shots over and over and, try to eat them as best he can. I have a feeling that Chris Matinho gets knocked out by Malcolm Wellmaker in the very first round. and I don't think he survives multiple exchanges. This is also, people are talking about this 5-fight win streak that Matinho's on. He was at 145 for a couple of these fights, I'm thinking, if I'm not mistaken. He's cutting back down to 135. He's going to weight drain himself and get clipped and probably be finished for it. Wellmaker by round 1 knockout is probably one of the easier locks on this card. Or potentially of the year, honestly. God, looking at this fight just hurts my eyes. What the fuck is this? Michael Chiesa versus Court McGee. In 2025, we have this fight happening. I didn't want it in 2015 when it was relevant, let alone 10 years later. Yeah, I've got Michael Chiesa winning by being more of an athlete than Court McGee. It's technically skilled on the ground. I don't know. He's gonna poke and prod at range. He's the taller of the two fighters. He's a little rangier. He is the grappler, though, so when they do get into exchanges, he's going to be looking to grapple rather than keep punching. If Chiesa is smart, which, I've got him ducking undershots, taking down Court McGee, and getting a submission in round number 2. I think that this fight should be fairly easy for Chiesa. This is one of those fights that, you hope he retires after so that you don't have to see him in the condition, or not in the condition he's in, but like in the condition that this division is in. We don't need Michael Chiesa right now. This division is amazing. We don't need a guy like Michael Chiesa or Court McGee walking around in this division. I'm going to be picking Chiesa by sub, but cut them both after this, please. Please. Or Chiesa retire. Just make it good. Make it a good retirement. You've won a fight. Retire. Speaking of a guy who's not going to win a fight, we've got Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato. I am not picking Paul Craig to win a fight. It's unfortunate. Not against a power puncher, at least. Or a guy with any kind of knockouts in his career. If he's TKO'd somebody, I'm not picking Paul Craig to beat that guy. Because Paul Craig's going to get knocked out unless it's Bo Nickel. Obviously, because he has no setup and doesn't know how to strike properly. But I have Rodolfo Bellato, round 1 knockout. He's going to move forward and Murad forward. He's going to herpy at him just a lot. Paul Craig's only chance is submission. If you're going to pick Paul Craig, you have to pick him by submission. Rodolfo Bellato is winning this fight by round 1 TKO, though. It's just kind of how things go for poor Paul Craig. Moving on, is this the main card now? This is the main card now. First fight on the main card. We've got Alonzo Menifield versus Umar Sy. Alonzo Menifield getting older, obviously, as everyone does each year. But he is 37, closer to 38 than 37. He's in the light heavyweight division against a rangy Umar Sy. I don't think Umar Sy is one of the best light heavyweights in the division, or like one of the best light heavyweights. But, I do think that he is capable of landing the big counter shots that... Excuse me, ma'am. I need you to stay down there for right now. But yeah, I don't think Alonzo Menifield's going to be able to keep Umar Sy off of him, even with his explosivity. It's dwindling pretty heavily. I think he's going to have slowed down enough to where Umar Sy is going to be catching him in between shots, or after an overextension of a shot. So he's going to come explode in, leave his chin out after throwing a big overhand right, and just get caught. I see a straight right putting Alonzo Menifield away. Another first round KO. Have a feeling this card's going to be very solid. Just based on how many finishes I'm picking pretty consistently. May not be competitive, but it will be full of finishes, I guess. Speaking of not competitive, we've got Cody Brundage versus Mansour Abdul Malik. I will be picking Mansour Abdul Malik by round 2 knockout. I think that Brundage is tough, but when the going gets tough on Brundage, he tends to quit. He'll be tough for a little bit, but he only has so much toughness in him, and then he just decides like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to be tough anymore. My paycheck can be halved right now. I've got Abdul Malik halving that dude's paycheck because Mansour Abdul Malik, he has been very technical, but powerful as well. He showed a lot of poise and calmness in attacking one of his opponents. I can't remember who it was. It wasn't Nick Klein. Because Nick Klein, I think, caught him with a spinning attack after he was coming in. Nick Klein threw something. Abdul Malik thought, like, now's the time to counter him. And then Nick Klein spun through with something and caught him. Buckled his legs pretty bad, I'm pretty sure. I feel like I'm remembering this right. And, yeah, he buckled his legs pretty bad. And then, Abdul Malik planted down and started trying to, stay planted rather than, constantly moving, using footwork, stuff like that. I think Mansour Abdul Malik's going to land some big shots on Brundage. He's going to eat them early and be kind of tough. I could seeing it being in the first round, but I think Mansour Abdul Malik is going to knock out Cody Brundage round number 2. Not sure what it's going to be with, just a flurry of shots probably. Cody Brundage has that blockhead that just doesn't allow him to go to sleep. So, there's that. There's this fight, too. Cody Garbrandt versus Hani Barcelos. With Hani Barcelos' last performance, it's hard to pick against him. Especially with Cody Garbrandt's performances and haircut and tattoos. I mean, I'm one to talk about a bad haircut, but the facial tattoos, the emo phase at 34 years old that he's going through now. It's just a phase, Mom. That's what Cody's telling her right now. But it's weird. Shorter with a longer reach. Something makes me want to pick Cody Garbrandt, even though this man's record has so much red on it recently. And he hasn't won in over a year and a half. Not over. A little under a year and a half. And it was against Brian Kelleher. He has only beaten dudes that are not in the UFC anymore, I'm pretty sure. And Hani Barcelos has won. He has won fights. I'm going with Cody Garbrandt. God, I really don't know if I should. Yeah, Cody Garbrandt. I'm going to pick him. Umar Nurmagomedov is knocked out. Barcelos. Kyler Phillips went to decision. I could see Cody Garbrandt winning a decision. He was landing some solid shots on Davidson Figueiredo. He was actually winning on the feet, if I'm not mistaken, until he got taken down, which I know that could be the problem in this fight, but I just think that Hani Barcelos' takedown game is not as good as it was shown to be in the Talbot fight. I think you have a guy in Talbot who isn't as hungry as he's like not seems to be, but as people think he is. There are, other fighters that did so much better than Peyton Talbot, and Talbot has so much more talent than them. I'm gonna pick Cody Garbrandt. I think you're gonna see like a slightly vintage Garbrandt outside of how he looks. But I think people are gonna be like, oh, Cody Garbrandt's back, and then he's gonna have his next performance after this one. I've got Cody Garbrandt winning, if I can say his name right. I feel like fucking Chael Sonnen or Joey Diaz. Kobe Gebhardt. I've got Cody Garbrandt winning by decision. Moving on to Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Petroski. We have the legend who was knocked out by a hip in Andre Petroski. And I will not pick that man to win this fight. Not when you have a dude who has the absolute finishing potential that Edmund Shabazian has in the first round. Now, if it escapes the first round, I do completely worry about my pick at that point. It will not escape the first round because we won't let it. I will throw a banana peel in immediately to hurt Petroski because he'll lose if there's a banana peel in that cage. I personally will make sure Petroski doesn't win this fight. Edmund Shabazian wins by round 1 knockout. There's no way this goes otherwise. I refuse to accept it. Oh, wonderful. A women's fight. We've got Rose Namajunas winning this by decision, I guess. Maybe she wins by submission. Who cares? It's not going to be the fight we're here to watch. We're here to watch this one. This one right here. We've got more black-on-black violence. It is the final fight of the night as well. We've got Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. I am super pumped for this fight. I do wish that Usman would have taken it sooner. I'm not sure if he's been dealing with injuries or anything like that. But he is 38 years old, and he already has horrific knees. The way he, jaunted forward after hurting Colby, or whoever it was, recently. There's been a clip going around of, him hurting a guy and then, shuffling forward like a grandpa. That just... Buckley is not losing to that man. Unless it's by knockout. I guess he could just clean KO Buckley with one shot, which hasn't happened in a while for him, so I assume it's not going to happen in this fight either. I'm going to be picking Buckley by round 2 knockout. I think that Buckley's initial game, he does not fall victim, but he doesn't handle long-rangey dudes as well, when they're using a long-rangey game. But Usman really only has a jab in that sense for long and rangy. Once Buckley figures out how to get past that jab, I think it's going to be curtains for Kamaru Usman. And I think it's going to take him about a round to get by it. Maybe he starts landing good in the first round, and Usman starts trying to use his wrestling. But I just think maybe the first couple shots are going to, they're going to clinch up. Buckley gets pushed back to the cage maybe. On the shots in the second round, I don't think that's going to happen. Lemon, you beautiful cat. I love you, but again, here, you can sit here. Where were we? Yes, I think Buckley's going to be able to stop those takedowns in the second round fairly easily and land some horrific shots. He's going to be stomping Usman's knees, stuff like that. Lemon, come on, cat. Stay over here. He's going to be stomping Usman's knees. He's going to be kicking his legs. Usman is not going to like what is happening in that cage, and he has not been in the cage for, I want to say, over a year and a half. it's been some time. Usman's been chilling on this podcast with Henry Cejudo. He has been making his life for after fighting, and Buckley is making his life for fighting right now. Buckley is going to absolutely land some devious shit on Kamaru Usman, and I think knock him out. I hope it's in a crazy way. Hopefully it'll be a cool knockout. But yeah, I've got Buckley winning this fight by round 2 knockout. And Cat, come on. That's it. You're done. You're done, little guy. These are my picks now. We can go back over them now that I have entered them and kind of go back over a recap. All right, we've got Buckley by round 2 knockout, Namajunas by decision, Shabazian by round 1 knockout, Garbrandt decision, Abdul Malik by round 2 knockout, Umar Sy by round 1 KO, Hadolfo Bellato, any of those toes, by round 1 knockout. Michael Chiesa by round 2 submission. Malcolm Wellmaker by round 1 knockout. Cody Durden. We've got Jose Ocho winning by round 1 knockout. Ricky Simon winning by decision. Angelusa winning by decision. And Jamie Lynn Horth winning by decision. If you want to trail these picks, feel free to. Feel free to pause or go back over. I'll have them panning back up until it hits the top, and that's where the video will kind of come to an end. Feel free, like I said, follow these picks, like, subscribe. If you want to enter the competition that I'm holding in Tapology, please follow either the link here. Hold on. Please either follow this link or the link in the description, and I will be paying out whoever wins each week the amount of money of US dollars that I have in subscribers on YouTube. So feel free, if you want to increase the price of that, subscribe. If you want to join in the competition, come join Tapology, join the groups, make picks, win money from me, steal my money, I guess. Anyways, have a great day. See you for the fights. Maybe I'll do a companion. And then we'll do a recap for sure. See you guys at least on Sunday.